This has gotten delayed. I don't know how many times you were sick. I'm like,
Oh, so sick.
This was not meant to be. I was down in Florida. You were sick. I'm like, I didn't think this was ever going to happen. Like it literally just kept getting pushed back, and like, oh man, I got Tigers tickets now. I got to push it back again. I'm like, this guy's gonna hate me. So, but
What's
hopefully,
Tigers? Is Tigers baseball?
baseball, yeah.
I thought so.
Should have just canceled that because we got absolutely slapped last night. So, should have just did the stream with you. It would have been more enjoyable.
Did you get a couple of $13 beers at least?
No, I did
No.
not. I had ice cream though. I had ice cream.
I've never seen ice cream for
$7.
sale. Oh,
Yeah.
that's not too bad.
Yeah. But Mr. Professor Oak, I appreciate you taking the time to jump on my channel, join my podcast. YouTube extraordinaire, great upcoming channel, all awesome. Pretty much started a new genre with the game night type stuff on YouTube, which is pretty cool. Seeing other types of channels kind of getting in on that was really cool to see. And some really good content, like seeing some of these nerdy guys answering some of these nerdy questions and not knowing a bunch of this stuff still is pretty hilarious. So everybody's got a bunch of work to do to get ready for some of your game nights. But
seriously,
I definitely enjoy your content, enjoy you as a person going on all these other channels, lives, and definitely recommend your Patreon, or not your Patreon, your Discord. I always mix those two up because of whatever reason, but your Discord, definitely enjoy that more than probably even my own. I have one. I have one, and it's just I don't know. I seem to post stuff into your Discord before I post into mine sometimes. So it's just the way it is. So it's all good. But I definitely appreciate coming on, coming from England, not born and raised here in the United States like most of the people I've spoke. There's two other people I spoke to from England actually in my podcast. So you're the third one, which is kind of strange. But it's pretty awesome. There is definitely a big group of people over there collecting cards. Obviously, you did some collecting as a kid, so which is why you're here today. I would hope. Otherwise, you're just I don't know what that kind of person is now. A 30-plus-year-old man collecting Pokemon that's never played in his life would be really strange. But
flippers.
Yeah, exactly. Flippers. Exactly. So yeah, if you could just give a general introduction to some of the people who might not know who you are, probably most do. And please plug away, man.
Wow. I mean, thank you. That was really sweet. I mean, what I think, a lot of what you just said kind of resonates with just the idea of like trying to create a fun environment, just trying to do fun stuff with the games and the lives. And I was doing some data which didn't change much month to month. So what I'm doing is I'm doing it quarterly now. So
Yeah.
You'll see at the end of this month, you'll see the second quarter of 2022's data coming out. So I've got a few different things I'm dabbling around with. But yeah, essentially everyone, I'm Professor Oak. I'm just kind of in the hobby. I'm not anything like a high-end crazy collector or anything. I'm not like a huge flipper or investor or anything. I wouldn't kind of assign myself to any kind of role or anything particular. I would say for the most part, I'm just in the hobby. Just kind of view myself that way. I kind of dabble in quite a lot of different stuff. Mason always kind of makes fun with me. Cardinal, you're good friends with him too. Kind of makes fun of me because I always say the phrase that I've got my fingers on a lot of pies. I'm just a busy person, little bit all over the place kind of thing. But yeah, I enjoy it. I just enjoy all of it. I've been playing around with boxes and coins and pokeballs and slabs and calendars, stickers, everything. Like I'm kind of all over the place. Most of my stuff is in slabs. and I've got a bunch of raw cards and a few binders going on. I've got a few things for me, just a bit of fun, but kind of scattered all over the place. And I think the reason I started YouTube, I guess you might want to touch on that, but is just for that. I mean, I'm just kind of in it, and I felt I wanted to be a part of it a little bit more so than what I was. Like, I felt like I was kind of like doing it on my own. It was like my own little thing. And then when I discovered other people are doing it, like the Green Shiz, and we had Leonhardt, I think was the first one I saw. And I was like, wait, this guy's an adult and he's talking about this stuff. Like, I thought I was the only adult doing these things. Like, I didn't realize this was a thing. And then I discovered PK, Pokemon Knowledge, and he was talking some pretty spicy talk on some cards and things going on in the market. It was pretty fun, and I was hooked. I was like, I gotta like listen to everyone in this now, and it was all uphill from there. Really, it's just got better and better. So all really positive right now. I know there's a lot of talk about recessions and craziness going on with prices dropping and stuff like that, but I mean, I just bid on a card the other day. I put I think I put $73 or something. I thought I was going to crush it, and it went for 300. I mean, this are still far exceeding like some expectations. So I still have a lot of confidence in the market right now. But yeah, I'm just kind of playing around.
Kind of in it, in the community. Taking it in strides. Definitely a lot of stuff to look back. Like, I'm looking behind you at all the different stuff, and it's pretty much everything. Like,
everything.
Yeah, open ETBs, sealed ETBs, like looks like pin box or something up there in the top right, and Pokemon movie, Oreos. That's awesome. No,
I'm glad you can see it clearly.
No, you can.
I look tiny on the thing, so I'm glad you can see it.
Is your Oreos still sealed, or is you kill those?
It is still sealed, and I'll tell you what. Tell you why. I'm one or the other. If I open anything, I feel like I've got to do something with it. So that Burger King Charizard right there is still sealed, because I know if I open it, I'd want to sell it and buy something I really want with it. Or if I open the Oreo things, obviously I want to open it, and then I just have an empty packet of Oreos. Like, there's something that just doesn't connect with me after you open it.
Yeah.
So I either have to sell it or I have to grade it, or like I feel like I've got to take action on it once I've opened it. So yeah, I'm one or the other. I'm either sealed or like, let's go.
Yeah. No, that's cool. So I want you to take me kind of back in the day, Professor Oak in the UK, and also Chicago. We're in Chicago, correct? And then came to Florida. So is there any collecting between the UK and Florida, or was there? Take me back to like the beginning, like when you first got into it. How old were you? What were you doing? That's this kind. I want to start at the beginning. Curious.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, I'm old, so obviously it was a long time ago. I'm trying to like get back to that, but yeah, I was in school and I remember being on the playground, and I was like a pretty poor kid, didn't have a lot of money, but I remember all the other kids having Pokemon cards, and I'd already been watching the show and like was obsessed. Like, I'd run home from school every day to like watch it before my dad got home from work, so I could like see it and like have the TV before he claimed it.
Yeah.
It was like my time. I had that like 20 minutes or half hour or whatever to watch an episode, and kind of loved it. And then I got some cards, a few base cards, a few gym challenge, gym heroes, all your regular stuff. And then I discovered Team Rocket. Then I was like, okay, these are a little bit edgy. These got a little bit of edge to it, a little bit different, a little bit fun. And I traded pretty much everything for Rocket, and most of it, hollow wise, I've graded that yellow binder, I don't know if you can see the yellow one just there, that's all full of all the commons and uncommons still. I think it's complete for commons and uncommons and trainers and all that kind of stuff. I think it is. And then I've got most of the hollows. I sold a couple of them to buy other stuff, but I knew that was in the hype, so I knew I'd be able to buy them back at lower price after. But yeah, I started getting into Rocket. The one next to it, the other yellow binder at the end, that was around about that time. I think it was Christmas, or maybe a little bit before, but that was in Australia, the Sydney Olympics. They did the 2000 World Pikachu collection, and I got a sealed version, like straight from it. And I think it was like 70 or 80 bucks or something. The sealed version. He had 9 Pikachus from 9 different languages.
Yep.
So that was my first sealed buy, and I didn't open that until 2020 when I graded the stuff in it. Like I kept it sealed for 20 years, and it was cool. I got 3 10s and 6 9s, I think it was. Centering mostly was the problem, which is kind of like out of your hand with sealed stuff, and it's kind of expected. But the 3 10s felt pretty good. So yeah, I've just kind of been in it for a while with that stuff. I was trying to think what else I've had that's like pretty old. That was the bulk of like the start of it.
Yeah.
So that obviously that was in England, and then yeah, it was from there. It was kind of like just a bit of collecting, playing, enjoying the show. And then the games came, right? We had Pokemon Yellow that I was obsessed with. I remember, I think it was it 98? I think it was the end of 1998, turning 99.
The games dropped just before the TCG, if I remember correctly. It was 98.
Yeah.
And then the cards came.
So I think, so here's the thing. In England, when I was a kid, the drinking age was 5. Right? You could drink at home from the age of 5. I remember being drunk on cider on New Year's Eve playing Pokemon Yellow, and my friend Tom, my friend at the time, was like throwing up, like he was sick. It was like a wild like New Year's Eve party, and I was playing Pokemon Yellow. Like that's how obsessed I was with that game and like Pokemon. I think it's now 8. I don't think it's 5 anymore. I think they raised it to 8, so it's a little bit better in England, but it's nothing like America. But yeah, I remember playing that game and just like, in the show and everything. And then like you say, that was a Luke Cards game, and then that developed into like me having a job. I got my first job when I was 11. One of the first big purchases I bought was I think it was a Game Boy Advance SP or whatever. It was the one with the flip top, and I bought Pokemon Crystal. Oh my god, the difference from Yellow to Crystal was like exponential. That game was insane. Like there was so much interaction, and you had a bike and like colors and like all these crazy things. It was so fun. So yeah, I mean that was huge. It was a good time. A lot of long nights where I should have been doing my homework and like being a good boy. Definitely up playing Crystal for a lot of those times. That kind of, to me, just kind of like being into Pokemon, not necessarily Pokemon cards. Like I wasn't buying, I didn't really have that much money. I wasn't, just like appreciated it. So like I had Pokemon things on display, just like all this junk back here. Pokemon socks, stuff like that. Like I remember just having like weird Pokemon stuff, like stickers, like just things. Like I just enjoyed Pokemon, I was just kind of in it. 2012, I came here. It's 10 years ago. Next month, the end, July 31st, I flew out. 12, I flew out. I landed in Chicago with a backpack and like $300. I just traveled the US and ended up on my 3rd month meeting a wonderful blonde girl in Florida. 6 months later, I was married and living here. That was, the beginning of 2013. We got married, and I mean, now we have a 3-year-old daughter and beautiful life. We both have careers, living the life I never dreamed of. But during that time, I was still doing Pokemon stuff. Like I remember at one point I was working at a bank, I worked at a bank for a little bit, and I remember wearing Pokemon socks and customers like playing it out, like making fun, like, isn't that a kid's game and stuff? And I was like, yeah, I love it. Like, it's like a Squirtle on my socks. Like, this is cool.
Yeah.
And then, leading up to 2020, got my binder out. You had the recession, lean hard, discovered, oh my gosh, there's all these things happening in YouTube. Like, this is a real thing now. People are grading. I've never heard of grading before. Like, what the heck's PSA? What's CGC? Like, what is this stuff? So that kind of like flipped a switch of like, oh shoot, there's like a way bigger world. Like, this is a much bigger thing that I ever knew existed. Like, more than I could have ever dreamed of. And I can tell you, like, people say the grass is green on the other side. That's a phrase of like, things can always be better if you do something different, right? With this, I definitely felt like the grass was greener where I was watering it. Like, the more I soaked myself in this, the more like I consumed and looked at and like researched, I was like, it just kept getting better and better and better. And for me right now, I think it's the best. I'm enjoying it more than ever right now. I'm just loving it. It's just gone exponentially up the past couple of years. And just the idea of sitting here with you right now, having this is like dreams come true. I mean, this is just brilliant.
World that we live in.
It's amazing. Honestly, I love it.
Yeah, just like what all the different things that had to happen to bring, I guess, us together in this chat. And like, I didn't ever plan on doing YouTube in my life until it was a Christmas break, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna open these World of Warcraft boxes and record it, and I'll just upload them and kind of just transition.
Was that the first one?
Yeah, I think there was probably I went to a car thing and drove a Ferrari, but that was probably my first upload.
Wow.
But it was an anniversary gift, but I don't own a Ferrari.
One of the driving experiences. Yeah, that's amazing. But yeah, I mean, the idea of opening up a World of Warcraft box and doing that's poking the bear right there. That's getting into the hobby for sure. And even though it's a different TCG, I'm glad you did it, because that's pretty cool. Like, okay, like, I want to share this with someone.
Yeah, that was the tip of the iceberg for the videos, because I was I guess for a little on me, I was into Pokemon for like 9 months before that and never got into YouTube. Like, I was buying and selling.
Yeah.
And so it's crazy that all that has happened and led us here tonight and having this discussion. It's pretty cool. So, but I do definitely appreciate coming on. That's crazy. So Team Rocket was the OG set. So do you have a bunch of PSA slabs with Team Rocket at all, or is there a certain one you like the most?
Yeah. Yeah, I got a few. I don't think I have them in this room. I think I have them in my safe box. I got so much random stuff, man. I can't even tell you like how many different weird things I have. But yeah, I think I've got most of them in. I just have like, people have been saying about bags lately, like that phrase bags. I got bag stuff here because it's like, that's like the fun stuff for me. It's
that
not
squirrel
like
I sent you is a huge bag.
That's my display piece. You can see that, right? Is that clear for you? That is I've had that on display literally since you sent it. That, you know what's even more ironic is it's in a PSA holder.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. I was like, what is that holder? Yeah, that's funny.
I love it. It kind of fits, but it kind of doesn't. I'm just kind of making it fit.
Yep. That's cool. So what other type of collectibles, anything outside of Pokemon that you said you're poking a lot of pies. So what are you poking? Anything?
Yeah. Yeah, I've played around a little bit with football, American football. I just opened a pack the other day and I pulled Gronk. I'm in Florida and it's Tampa Bay, so
he
that makes
retired
sense.
again, I thought, right?
I don't know what's going on with that guy. He's all over the place. I don't fully understand other things. I mean, just like with what's his name, Tom Brady. I mean, I thought he retired. Like,
he did for 3 months or something.
I don't know what's going on. Those guys are all over the place. I don't know if it's a trick or like marketing or agent stuff, or I don't know what it is, but yeah. So cards, I bought a bunch of stickers. Actually, 2020, I bought I bought a bunch of American football stickers from the Dollar Tree. They had like these big packs, and I was pulling out like fancy hollows from them and selling them for $1.50, and then I still had like 8 or 9 stickers left, and I was like, "This is like easy money on eBay." So I was like buying a pack. I just go buy like 20 or 30 packs. I'd come home and I'd pull out all the hollows and I'd make $50 or so, and then I'd like list all the others for like 80 cents, 90 cents, whatever, and they'd sell, and I'd use that and I'd buy Pokemon stuff. Like I'd just buy like bits I want, or pay for penny sleeves or whatever for cards. Just kind of like played around, and that was like right at the beginning of me cycling into like, oh wait, you can like make this isn't just fun. Like you can actually make money with this stuff. Like you can play around. So yeah, that's when I started playing around with that. But yeah, I've got a bit of Magic. I've got a bit of I'm trying to think what else I've got. Baseball card. Friends plays for Cleveland. Something they changed it. I don't know if I'm allowed to say what it was.
Stupid name is. I don't even know what it's called.
Not
Marauders or
not
something.
the Indians.
Not the Indians anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. So I bought a bunch of his cards and gave them to his sister because she didn't really have any. But yeah, I've got some comics. I got some magazines. Just kind of like whatever I think is cool, or if there's an opportunity. I'm a bit of an opportunist. I've said it before on live streams, but the glass isn't half full or half empty for me. It's more like a chance to quench your thirst. Like no matter what's there, just grab it. Like just enjoy it. Just get involved, taste the water, whatever's in the glass. So yeah, I'm just like looking around. I've got so much random stuff. I'm just kind of all over the place.
You got inventory on everything?
No. No. I mean, the stuff that I grade, I'm the flip opposite, complete 180. Sell sheets, what the market as an 8 is. I always go by market as an 8, just in case anything crazy happens. If it's an 8 and I can break even, I'm safe because I'm only sending in things that I think is going to be a 9 or a 10. So if it hits an 8 and I'm even, I'm golden. On average, I'll be golden, whatever comes in. So I'm very particular. I'm literally work with the job. So in that sense, I'm very like analytical and like data driven in that kind of stuff. Just not in the stuff that's for fun. That's like a complete other side of my personality, I guess.
Yeah.
It's like two edges to the sword, I guess you would say.
Yep. Interesting. So, do you still have any of your old Pokemon games at all, or is it?
No, I sold them all when I was in England to pay for other things. I think, it sounds terrible, but it wasn't even Pokemon. I think I actually sold most of it to get a PS3. I think it was when PS3 released back in the day.
Yep.
Pretty sure it was PS3. I sold a bunch of I think I even sold the console, like the little SP. I think I had was it DSi? What was the one that had the touch screen with the pen?
Nintendo DS, yeah.
It was DS. Okay, yeah, the DS. I sold that. I sold a few, I didn't have that many games, but I sold the games. I sold anything that I was like didn't need. I was like, I need this new PlayStation. I need that. Like we're gonna do this. Oh my god, I never played it anyway. I was too busy out with my friends and girls and like doing crazy stuff. Like I didn't even play that PlayStation anyway, so I don't even know why I did that. Like probably my biggest regret is selling like that old like OG excuse me, that had with like the game stuff. Which is interesting because I never sold a single card until 2020, the end of 2020.
Yeah.
Not a single one.
A lot of people just assume zero value, which they had really low value then. And there wasn't
Rightfully so.
tons and tons of trading card shops where you could walk in just to flip it. There's GameStops everywhere, whatever you guys had in the UK. GameStop? Or
It's called it's just called Game over there. Like it's the same store. I think it's owned by the same people, but it's just called Game. Just no
straight
stop.
to the point.
Yeah, it's just like Game. Just come here for Game.
Why stop? It's
Yeah.
just call it Game. That's hilarious. No,
Yeah, I mean, you're right though. I mean, I didn't know there was any value in it. I thought it was just for fun. I thought it was just for me, for my collection to look at. I think it was cool in the binder. You know, I didn't have first edition Charizards. Like I didn't have the real big hit stuff. I had Dark Charizard. I ended up grading that. I think that graded a 9. Like I had some good stuff, but not like creme de la creme that was actually truly worth money at that point.
Yep.
So it was a learning curve when I discovered that stuff. You know, when the boom started hitting.
So during the boom, were you selling at all as like a side hustle or what?
Everything I could part with, everything, and I was buying stuff and selling it too. So yeah, I jumped pretty headfirst into it. When I realized that like people really want this stuff, and I have things that like people might want. I mean, I don't think I have a single gym challenge card left. There's bag slabs, you know, that have sentimental value in terms of like the first good ones that I had, but everything else, all the commons and commons, any real bad graded stuff, like sold them all on eBay, you know, and then used that to buy stuff that I actually wanted or I wanted to invest in other things. And it was a little bit of a, I don't know how to describe it, like an escalator. So it was like I bought this for $1, and I sold that for $2, and I sold that for $2, $2, and I bought that for $5, and I sold that for $8, $8, and I bought that for $10. It was kind of like I just crept up and up and up, and now I'm like bidding on $200-$300 pieces. Like it's just like gone up and up and up. As it's taken a long time, and I'm not by any means like I'm still very much like in the small kettle of fish. I've got to the point where I can bid on pretty much anything I want or anything that I think I might be able to play around with, and because I feel confident that I know what the market will do, like when I want to do something with it, kind of thing. Because I've learned a lot this year or two. I think most people have, and I think YouTube has been a big proponent of that. You know, there's been a lot of educational channels on there. You know, we've got people like TCA, for instance. You know, people talk about him a lot, but he'll like talk through the cards. He'll explain to you what the cards mean and why it's rare, why it's difficult to get a hold of, or you know, its origins and that kind of stuff. And people love that stuff, you know. So there's a lot of education out there. I think people now are more informed, have more intuition with the stuff than ever. So it makes it much harder for me, like trying to get the stuff that I truly want, because there are a lot of the people like trying to bite on that little worm on the hook for sure. But yeah, I mean, just kind of worked my way up. Just started, like I say, singles, stickers, and whatever I was doing. I remember I was buying Evolutions 3-card packs at Dollar Tree and Unified Minds, Unbroken Bonds, like some of those older sets, like, you know, modern, but they're older now, worth a little bit more money now. But like I remember opening them and just selling the packs or selling blisters. Sometimes I could get, sometimes I'd open a few and sell a few of the cards, that kind of stuff. Just playing around, you know, doing different things and just seeing where it was at, and made mistakes, made some real silly mistakes. I remember buying, I bought a bunch of 2-pack blisters of one set. I forget what it was. For some reason, I thought it'd be great idea to buy a bunch of these 2-pack blisters and open them and like get all these fantastic pulls and like grade all these cards and make loads of money and stonks and all the rest of it. And I pulled jack shit. I pulled nothing. I spent this money and I was like, Like, it doesn't always go well, but I learned a lot from doing that. I didn't do that again. You know, it's kind of when you're a kid and then hot and you realize that didn't feel good. I don't want to do that again. You know, it's that kind of mindset. So yeah, definitely made some mistakes. I did some things that worked really well. I learned that popularity means money. I think that's probably the biggest thing. And also the exact 180 in terms of the niche, like the things where people aren't looking at can sometimes make money, and everything in between. You could, like, you can kind of make a bit of money if you go work hard, but like it's the very opposite ends of the spectrum that where the the money making is, in my eyes.
And you had said something there, kind of like the popular cards are expensive, but here you are chasing the PSA Pikachu collection, and that, holy cow, you bit off a hell of a chunk. That's got to be one of the what is like, how many cards to fill out the PSA registry would it be?
Right
Does it
now,
say?
I think it's 684 right now.
And it grows by like 12 every set, right?
So, well, that's a really good question. I'm just going to double check that it hasn't changed because I requested a couple more. No, it's still 684. So let me backtrack before I address that because I want to talk about what you just said. There's actually 3 sets. There's 3 Pikachu sets in the registry. The first one is what's called the basic set. So what that is every like set that has been released, you can have just one Pikachu from any of those sets, like from each of those sets, let's say. So some of them there's 2, 3, 4, you know, some of them there's 1, some of them there isn't any. So what it is the ones where there is a Pikachu, as long as you have one of those, you get a check mark. You complete that section for the registry. So on that one, I'm 4th in the world. Like, because I have like, I think I'm like 34% complete or something, which is nothing. But like, it's just so difficult. Some of them are so expensive to get. And some people just don't even use the registry. I'm sure some people have more of them. They just don't plug them in there. So you've got that where you've got the full sets, like regular ones. And then you've got the English master set. So that includes every set card. Like, you can't just have one from that set. You have to have all of them. And then it has every promo that's English, every like differential. So like you got first edition and unlimited. Like there's like all those versions of it too. In that there's 310 just in English. And that's for now. And that's before we address the second point I'm going to get to. And then the third set is the actual master set. Now, the actual master set includes things like Japanese and Chinese and weird promos and victory things and medals and all that kind of stuff. And there's almost 700 right now. So that point I was getting to is that is just the ones that have been requested to be in it. So PSA isn't actively adding cards. They don't add a card unless someone asks. There's a bit of a misconception with PSA. PSA doesn't make a set registry. They don't just make a set, or they don't just add cards in because they knew a new set's out. They won't add, for instance, if there was a Pikachu Radiance and people graded it in a 10 and they wanted it in their master set for Pikachu, it wouldn't be there. You have to actually make a request to PSA. So because of that, it's not really 684 because I could be at that spot and have that many, but then 5 other people could say, well, I've got this card, I got this card, I got this card. And then in the month it takes them to add it on, those have all got added now. So now I've got to find those too. So it's like, it's a slog. Like it takes real work to be in there. And I'm guilty of it too. I mean, I've added 2 in the past month and I've sent 3 more requests. So that's 5 right there. I mean, that's almost a 1% growth just from me alone, like asking for other cards that I have in my collection greater than 10s that I'm like, can you add this? Can you add that? Can you add this? Because like I have it, it should be in this set, but you don't have it uploaded yet because no one's requested it. So it's kind of like making life more difficult, but I want to have that in my registry, you know, when I have it loaded and be in there. So yeah, I'm just looking now. I'm in the top 10 for all three.
Wow.
Which
Who
is
the
like
number one Pikachu collector? Is it any person name we would recognize?
let me pull it up because I think this guy like is one that I've never heard of, never heard anyone talk about. It says Kel Drill. And I don't think I've ever heard anyone talk about it. But on the master set, like the master set, he's 30% complete. He's the number one in the world in who has 30. He only has 30%. Like just that just shows you the scale of like how big that registry is. It's insane.
Yeah, that's
here. I'm looking
200 slabs,
so many. I'm looking at that basic set that I was talking about, the first one. And there's someone that I think he had 84. It's just loading. Nope, he just bought a bunch more. He has 93.62% complete of that one. So he basically has one of every set. He probably doesn't.
That's crazy.
You know, the past years, he probably just doesn't have the modern because of grading being so expensive. Probably just doesn't have the last year's worth of cards. But yeah, he's up there. And then the guy below him has 89%. And then that Kel Drill guy has 51%. So that Kel Drill guy must have a lot of Japanese, I guess, because that basic set's English.
Yeah, that's absolutely insane. It's crazy. I feel like trying to think about the CGC registry, I only looked at it really the one and a half times, and I want to say they update every time a new set comes out. They add all the cards into it, which is pretty cool. But I was curious for PSA, if you were to sell one of your Pikachus, it's up to you then to remove it, obviously.
Yeah, so there's two ways. So if you were running your registry like correctly, if you're doing it the right way, you would go in there, you would mark it as there's like an area where you can like click and say, sold this one, here's what I sold it at, or just change it to sold or whatever. But if you don't do that and someone buys it and they want to add it to their registry, it can only be in one place at a time. So what they'll do is they'll say, hey, I'm trying to add this to my registry. It says it's already assigned to somebody. So it creates a request that goes to PSA. They must have some team or software or something. It sends a request to PSA. PSA then it would email me and say, did you sell this card? Because someone else is saying that they've got it. And then you have to say either yes or no. And if it's fraud, you say no. It's like, I've got it. It's in my collection. They ask them for a picture of it. They ask for like a time-stamped picture of it to prove that they have it. If you did sell it, you just say, yeah, I sold it. And then it reroutes, bounces onto their registry. Pretty simple. I've never had any issues with it. It's been brilliant. It's been smooth. There's stuff I've bought where I've sent that request where they're just high volume guys that have had a lot of cards and they just haven't clicked sold or whatever. So I get an email reminder, boom, yep, done. And then I've had other ones where there's a couple where it's come to me and I've been like, oh, yeah, sorry. Like, not Pikachu's obviously, but like other cards where I'm like, oh, sorry, yeah, I was just like, forgot about that. And then just to prove it, and it just reroutes and clicks onto their little collection registry. But it's pretty fun. I think the other aspect outside of like the organization and the administration part of it is you can click in there what you paid for it, and then it'll tell you what it's been selling at auction. So you can see like where you stand in terms of what you paid and really like kind of what it's worth, like in a sense, like it's PSA's view of what it's worth, but it makes you like feel good knowing if you paid below or above like what it is, you kind of know where you stand and do with it. Maybe you want to sell it because it's skyrocketed, or maybe you want to hold on to it because it's not really moving or anything. For those people that do buy and sell, for me, it's kind of irrelevant. It's just kind of like a pat on the back that I got it at a good price, really. Like that's really all it is, because most of it's personal collection in there.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Is there any other favorite Pokemon? Like, what other collection goals besides Pikachu? Is there something else you're kind of chasing in any of these sales and auctions?
Let me show you this real quick. So, obviously, professors, right? I mean, I've been grabbing, all different professor cards, but a bit of binder out there. Let me skip a few, and then I like Eevee. I've been collecting a few Eevee cards, binder stuff.
Cheap either.
Not cheap, and again, so many Eevees. And before you even get started on evolutions, just Eevees alone, there's so many artworks. There's so much effort been put into that Pokemon through the years. And then, graded wise, I'm kind of all over the place. I'm kind of planning a frame. Most of it's for me, like, a lot of it's just for me, but I'm planning a frame of Squirtle, Bulbasaur, Charmander, and the Revolutions, right? So all the 9, guys that we're aware of from back in the day, and then Pikachu. I'm kind of planning like a frame of those 10, and having them displayed left to right, and then Pikachu at the end or at the front or at the top or whatever. I don't know, just kind of in there. So I've got a bunch of those in slabs that I graded, and then I have like the birds. I have Articuno, Moltres, Zapdos. I have them, obviously amazing. I have quite a few cards of theirs that I just in card savers and stuff, and I have them in slabs, the original Aoki eras, that I graded to display them. I'll be to do a little 3 slab frame just of those. They're just so iconic, just such a big part of those first couple of years of the show and the game and everything, and the cards. And then I'll be honest with you, most of the modern stuff I've graded has been to make money for other stuff I want to buy. Like a lot of the modern stuff I haven't really kept, unless it's been Pikachu. I haven't really kept that much, or planning to keep, just because I feel like they might go down a little bit. Like most of them have. I feel like I can sell them and buy them when they're a little bit cheaper. The stuff that I really love. I sold a Charizard from Celebrations that I graded at a 10, and it's been kind of eating away at me a little bit, but like I sold it for like 350 at PWCC, and I'm like, it's $350. Like what? Like why would you not sell that and like hope that you can just get a cheaper version in the future?
Yeah.
Raw. Like I could probably get a PSA 10 worthy raw one for $100 or $50, whatever, in future, and just regrade it and come back to it. It just seems like easy money. Like those kind of plays, So that's the kind of things I'm doing, like a little bit of a play around of a way to make money to do other stuff, like with modern things, outside of the collection pieces.
Oh yeah. So you had mentioned you kind of were in it through the Chicago, in Florida. So like, was there a favorite set of yours through those years, or is it a current set, or what was kind of like your favorite set to open?
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking back to like the most recent sets that I've been opening. I've opened some recently. I did talk about Dollar Tree stuff, but outside of that, I mean, I have opened some evolutions the past couple of years, evolutions, Unbroken Bonds, Unified Minds, some tag team stuff, some Japanese stuff, which has been fun. Quite a few different boxes there. Chilling Rain, Battle Styles, you know, everything from last year and this year. I opened up pretty much everything. And Celebrations was pretty fun. Like Celebrations had some pretty flashy, fun cards in there. Sick, real quick of Reshiram and Ho-Ho and like, you know, those like common rares that you were getting. Like that got boring real quick. But the other cards, it was fun trying to get those big hitters from the second set, you know, within it. It was kind of like a bit of a thrill of the chase with that. And when you did pull it, you know, I pulled quite a few of the Zernia CXs, which apparently is quite a hard one to pull. I didn't realize it was that hard. Excuse me. But yeah, I pulled quite a few of those. And there is a beautiful card. I mean, a lot of color there. It's just a fun one. I didn't get as much satisfaction from Evolving Skies as I did from Celebrations. I think a lot of people are really into Evolving Skies, and I don't know if it's that I didn't just have that much luck with it. I really didn't have that many good hits. I hit I think it was a Glaceon, the alternate art Glaceon, where it's like sat on like a frozen pond or something. It's like sat in like this in a cold area, and I flipped it. I mean, with it, I feel like it was within minutes. I forget how long it was, but I sold it very quickly for like $55, and I was like, "That's $55 I can spend on something else now. Like that's just one card. I'm not that connected to it. Like I'll shift that and move on." Just didn't have that much connection to Evolving Skies. With Brilliant Stars and Astral Radiance, it's been really exciting seeing a real strong trainer gallery effort.
Yeah.
Like the artwork and the those has been, I think, strongest than I've ever seen in the Pokemon card hobby. I don't think I've seen stronger artwork than these last couple of sets.
So SM Pratt mentions it in some of his videos. He's not a big fan of the large sets like the Evolving Skies, and they're insane. Like if you get into the reverses and all that, they're insane. Do you prefer the ability to kind of binder collect, or like Celebrations was a small set and you can possibly pull all the cards out of whatever 100 packs?
More realistic.
You can't do that in base sets like Evolving Skies, Chilling Rain, and stuff like that. Which do you like more? Would you prefer to go back to smaller sets, or?
Yeah, that one up there is Celebrations binder set. I mean, yeah, I like the smaller sets, I guess you could call it. Like, I don't know how small it gets too easy. I don't know where the borderline is, because there was a little bit, like I touched on, you know, another Ho-Oh, oh my god, another flying Pikachu, like
Exactly.
oh my god, like
Yeah.
another Cosmog. Like this is getting a little like silly now. Like it did get a little repetitive, but when you hit that one that you'd been waiting for, it felt good. They really did cherry pick a couple, you know, in there, and it did feel really good. I opened up probably more Celebrations than any other set in the past couple of years, and I have still not completed it. Like it still is, there is still a little bit of a chase there. Like I still need the fancy Mew, like that gold Mew. You know, I still need I need a Charizard now, obviously, as I sold it, but there's still like a couple of things there that I'm still like trying to get. So like that's playing into it. Like I'm itching to open that V Union box. Like I want to open it because like, what if it has the Mew in it? What if it has this in it? Like there's a bit of excitement because I am so close. Whereas I don't feel that with Evolving Skies because it just feels like kind of overwhelming thinking that there's, I think I worked it out. I think I pulled the data. I did a video on it. It was like 587 cards or something. It was like just a ridiculous amount of cards to actually build a full set. Like over every card in there. It doesn't feel good. Like mentally, psychologically, like that's not exciting for me. Trying to get into that. I'm not rich. Like you know, I can't just throw money at Evolving Skies.
Yeah, I think that was the last booster box I opened for myself was Evolving Skies, and
Yeah.
I pulled the Leafeon and sold it for like $70.
Same thing. Yeah.
So that was cool. Yeah, it's I love that set's crazy. Chilling Reign's always got a special heart because I love that Galarian Zapdos that looks like the Roadrunner.
It's awesome. So
That card
awesome.
still sells for like $200+ in a PSA 10.
It's awesome. But again, like I was talking with Mason and Northwoods on Friday night. I think it was Friday or Saturday night. We were talking, and that card does not belong in Chilling Reign. That does. We were talking about like set identity. That has nothing to do with Chilling Reign. That card, like, it's so far removed from like that set. But I love it. I love that that's the case. Slipped in and like did some like diversity and shook things up a little bit and like did different things just because like it's just wonderful artwork. You can appreciate it for the artwork. It doesn't have to connect to anything else. It really is that simplistic.
Yep.
It's awesome. It's a fun card.
Yeah, he saw some play competitively, and so did the Moltres. So it's pretty interesting. Did you ever play any TCGs or anything growing up?
Yeah, so obviously when it released, I played like with my friends. I remember sitting, I remember like, in the playground, if we had enough time, we'd like try and quickly do it, but not like competitions. I wasn't Echo. Like I wasn't Echo based collectibles, like doing like
No, you weren't going to
professor
Worlds?
level shit. Like I didn't have none of that. Like I'm from a forest. Like literally grew up in a forest. Like there was none of that stuff. So I would have if I could, but I just didn't have the opportunity. So when the online version came out, I played that. I mean, I have. It's funny because PTCGO Radio. I don't know if you listen to his videos. He talks a lot about the game and some of the gameplay cards. He did a video the other day about flying Pikachu and surfing Pikachu, and that's literally my deck that I use from Celebrations, the Celebrations versions. I've been using that for like 6 months, and I've been like, I would say 65% win ratio, which is like isn't incredible,
Yeah,
but like I win more than I lose, like
that's a
just a
win.
bit more. Yeah, so a win's a win. Like the ratio is better than losing. So I feel like I've got a fairly good deck, but I think I struggle with the right trainers and like tools and stuff to use for it. I think it's the extra bits. I feel pretty confident on the Pokemon side of stuff and what things will work and like balancing out the amounts of like the first evolution and like trying to get that to grips. But I have to play around with the trainers and energies and tools and all the different things to try and get that right, because I just can't seem to get my finger on the right pulse where I'm like I feel real confident. So yeah, I play online, but I'm subpar. I'm not. I'm below what 90% of people probably play at, honestly.
The closest I get to playing it, I guess I have played. I went to a tournament like with my friend not too long ago, but I still have the Pokemon trading card game, the original Game Boy game, as an emulator on my phone. So
Yeah.
it's pretty fun.
Oh my god, I remember I had that on Game Boy. Oh my god, it's been so long since I played that game. That's crazy.
It's still a classic, man. It was like riding a bike. When I turned it on, I'm like, all right, I know where to go. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. I can't wait till I retire and have more time and can kind of sit back and play. Like there's so many Pokemon games I want to play. I look forward to those days where I have time. My kids are out of the house and
I feel you.
I'll be 50-year-old man sitting on the couch playing some Pokemon Heart Gold, Soul Silver. Those games will be expensive as hell then, though.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, buy them now. Like seriously, if we're gonna do that, we're gonna figure that out because
Yeah,
it's only gonna get worse. I can't help but imagine that there'll be a VR version, like a real world like feeling of walking around it at some point.
yeah.
I don't know how that would look, but
Should be a mix of Pokemon Go and Oculus. So
yeah, PlayStation's releasing their second version of the VR2. Like, they're making a big push. Like, people are taking this stuff serious. It's taken a long time to get to this point. Like, virtual reality hasn't been that successful, up
Yeah.
until the past couple of years. It really hasn't. So now is maybe the time where they will invest some money. Now people are really getting into it.
Yep. You getting NFTs or any of that crap?
I what's the basketball one? Oh my god, it's been like a little while.
Hot Shots.
The NBA Hot Shots, yeah. Oh my god, I bought a bunch of those, bunch of packs before they set like restrictions on limits and stuff. Like, it's a different world now. I haven't played with it in months, but I bought a bunch of those and sold at a profit. Took that money out and I bought Pokemon with it. Like, I just played around and I just used it as a way to make money. Honestly, I just made profit. Yeah. I made a few $100 and pulled it out and I just did Pokemon stuff with it. I don't know if it's a long-term play for me, the NFT stuff. It was like more of a couple of months, like smash and grab kind of like. Excuse me. I know I know I can pull stuff and I could potentially get something that's worth far more than what it is. And some of the cards I was just selling for like a couple of bucks, but it only cost me $1 to buy it. So it was like that, I was making profit on that. And then when I did hit a big hitter, I think I hit one that was like, I forget, they had like numbers assigned to them. It's been a while, but I hit one that was like, I guess he had the same number as the jersey of the guy that was in it. And I'm not big in, I'm like I just said, I grew up in a forest in England. I don't know shit about NBA. Like, I really don't know that much.
Yeah.
But like this famous guy, like it had the same number as his jersey, and like I sold it for like, it was like a few $100. Like, it was crazy to me, but it was fun, which was the biggest takeaway. Like, it wasn't just about money. Like, I actually enjoyed watching the videos. They were like the little clips. They were like jumping around and doing hoops and passes and like doing that stuff. And it was like something that I could enjoy doing. It wasn't washing dishes at a local pub, like making money. Like, I was doing something fun, positive that I felt I was a part of. It was like its whole community, like separate away from, Pokemon. I was like in this whole new community that I was a part of, and I was making money doing it. Like, what's not to love? Yeah. So those are the things that like I love jumping into and playing around with. Yeah. So that is probably the extent of my NFTs. For the most part, I'm pretty dubious of Logan's Liquid Marketplace. I'm not sure the intent behind it. I don't know, like, the approach is quite right.
Yeah. Did you know? Are you familiar with any of the companies that existed before it, like Rally?
No, I've never heard of Rally.
Yeah, so Rally's been around for a little while. They're exact same thing as what he's doing. So he's got his own. Yeah, they've been around. So when you see like some of these big video game sales, it was a lot of the times these companies buying them, Rally, and I forget, I'm drawing a blank on some of the other ones, but and then they would just give it to their marketplace and say, okay, we're opening it up, 10,000 people, $50 per person, come buy a slot into owning this game.
Wow.
And similar concept it'll end up being, but yeah, they have competition. It's not new.
Like a share of it. You're like buying into like its hopefully potential value kind of thing.
Yeah, and usually it's got an astronomical value, unrealistic most of the times, which is where they're kind of making money because obviously they're a company, they got to make money. I don't know. I'm not a fan of any of those, Rally or Logan Paul's Liquid Marketplace, or
it just doesn't feel real, right?
Yeah, you don't ever get to feel it. I love being able to pick up my cards. Like, obviously there's, I don't know, I buy stocks, which is I guess the same type of thing, and it's just, it feel like when I buy a stock, it's like putting money into a very volatile bank. That's how I
Yes.
feel like when I do it. And I guess this could be seen like the same, but even more risky, I'd say. But I don't know.
I
Pretty
mean,
interesting.
people are doing it.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing too. Like, I think sometimes I question myself on like, am I just old? Am I just too old school? Is it that I'm not being like progressive enough or whatever the word would be? But like for me, it just seems like a bit dumb.
Yeah.
Like I just feel like there's a way easier way to like and actually like be actually liquid. Like you could buy a PSA 10 Charizard and like whether it drops or goes up or whatever, like you'd probably have a little bit of liquidity and be able to sell it tomorrow. Whereas
Yeah.
that stuff, that liquid marketplace, like how liquid is that liquid marketplace? Like I don't know really like
Yeah.
how easy that stuff works. I don't know. It's just kind of like pixels and numbers. You know, it's not really a thing.
Yeah. Speaking of liquid, basically turning into water is Bitcoin. I don't know if you follow stocks
Bad
or
week. Yeah.
cryptos. I feel bad if anybody bought it at, it's like, I'm just looking here, 6 months ago it was up to 50 grand. And today it's at 21. Can you
Wow, it's dropped
imagine?
even more than well, I was looking at it was 23, so it's dropped even more. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's down to 21, and people bought it at 50,000.
Road to 100,000. Yeah.
Oh,
Shoot for the moon.
Dogecoin was bad. Holy cow!
You know, what's funny about that is kind of like a win and a lose for me. I had money in Bitcoin and I sold and I didn't make stonks. I think I made like 9% or something. Like literally like it went up a bit and I was like, I don't know if people like too positive about it. I don't know what's going on right now. I think I might sell.
Yeah,
I literally made like 9% and I threw it into this IPO. I think it was called ARBK. It was like a startup for the companies that process um, NFTs, bitcoins. Like they like do blockchain type work. Like they do like the heart of like the processing part of that
yeah,
stuff. So I took it out of Bitcoin. I thought, yep, I've made money. I'll take that money out of Bitcoin, my stocks, and I'll throw it just my play stocks, like not my actual stocks, but like the stuff I play around. I put that money out. I threw it into that IPO, and that tanked anyway. Like the same thing as Bitcoin, it completely dropped all the way down. So I was like, I mean, it was the same thing. I might as well just left it, but it's worth a shot. Like at least you can't win. Like no matter what you do, it's all throw the dice. You know, it's all just a gamble. So who knows? Maybe they'll pick up. I know they're doing a change with CEOs and CFOs and all that stuff. So maybe that stuff will change around. But with Bitcoin, like I mean, honestly, I think now's the time to buy. Like
yeah,
people are panicking and worrying and selling out and getting rid of it. Like if it's at 20K, like if I had a bunch of spare cash and I was in that field, I was into cryptos and stuff, like I won't be selling right now. I'd be trying to buy as much as possible. I'd be like throwing money into it. Hopefully sold on the way to it already by and throw money back in, kind of come back up a little bit. But long term, I think Bitcoin's the future. I just don't know how long it's going to take to get there, is the thing.
yeah. It's crazy that can swing $40,000
Insane.
in
Unreal.
a year, like less than. It's crazy money. Yeah,
Yeah. And it's concerning that they can stop withdrawals too. That's a little worrying to me. The whole withdrawal, like, nope, you can't take any money out because it's become too volatile or
it's frozen. Yeah,
like, yeah, whatever the words are they use. Like, I don't like that.
no, I
It's
know
not
Robinhood did that. It was like built into their app, but I didn't know Bitcoin had that kind of built in.
today. That's been happening today. A lot
Oh,
of
really?
the apps have been doing it. They've like, nope, you can't sell, you can't withdraw. I don't like that. I feel bad. I feel real bad for people panicking right now. They do want to sell. I don't think they should sell. Like I really don't think anyone should be selling right now at all. No matter how bad it gets, I really think you should hold on to it because I think in the future it will go up. But I think you should have the ability to if you want to. That's certain.
Yeah, it's like Pokemon. We hit that mountain peak, and look at us now. We're kind of just coasting around down the stream in our paddle boat, and keep on keeping on, really. But if money was no object for you, like if you had like 30,000 bitcoins, what one collectible you think you would buy?
Just one.
What's the one thing you'd go after? Doesn't have to be Pokemon.
You know what? Something that is like truly unique. So I'd buy like a snap station, or I'd buy. Have you seen the Pikachu that Pokerev's got in his office? It's got like the Pikachu statue thing. Oh, what's it called?
It's like the New York Pokemon Center Pikachu.
It's like a figure statue,
yeah,
whatever it's called, like something like that. That is like cool. You can display it forever. Give it a little spit polish, like make it look nice forever and ever. Like that could be worth zero after I buy it, and I'd still like look at it like it's a 20 grand like piece of art. Like that will just always for me appreciate like just in love and like value in my heart. Whereas I think card wise, quite honestly, I don't know if it's just like the humbleness in me or something, but like there isn't a lot of high end cards that like really appeal to me. Like I'm like kind of the opposite with cards. I mean, I think probably one of my favorite card artworks is the Crimson Invasion Pikachu, where he's on the beach. There's like a little beach hut behind him. It's like on like a beach, and it looks like kind of dumb and cartoony. It's just real simple and chill. And it's like a $30-40 card or whatever in a PSA 10. It's nothing.
Yeah.
And that's like literally one of the cheapest card slabs I've got, and it's probably one of my favorites. So most of the card artworks I like are like the set and promo, like just chilled out regular Pikachu cards. Like that's stuff I love, and talked about it, the birds and rocket sets, and I like a lot of the XY stuff. People about it, but I do think there's a lot of really cool XY promos. They started putting in a lot of effort in that stuff to try and make things a little bit more like edgy and flashy and a little bit like more modern. If everything felt a little bit more like modern and like up to date when they hit XY for some reason. So there's a lot there, and I mean nothing's expensive. Nothing's like crazy money. We're not talking like Illustrator type prices, Pokemon, the Pikachu Illustrator, I could have 1 billion, and I think the only reason I would buy it is from ego. Like I don't think I really enjoy the card or value it. I think it would just be a case of ego of having that card, and that may be the case for some of those people, those real big hitters. I don't know, but artwork and enjoyment wise, regular old cards for me. I mean, I just love them.
Oh yeah, no, it's awesome. Fun. Definitely, and
hang on, Pokerev, if you're listening, feel free to donate to the Professor Oak, that Pikachu statue.
Yep, definitely that's going to happen. He will definitely hear from us. I will, at least I could send it to Cool Trainer Ryan. I know we've messaged a few times back and forth, so maybe he'll get it. He'll get them message to him.
I love it.
So being a gentleman that lives really close to CGC trading cards, I don't know how far exactly because I don't know where you live, but probably within 30 minutes, 40 minutes the way it sounded.
Yep.
You still are primary PSA. Most of your collection is PSA, but you have recently purchased a few CGC slabs. So
your fault.
I mean, I don't know. You got it in hand. What are your thoughts comparison to the
Actually, you can see that.
yeah. And one of my plans, I would love to do this, is kind of walk into like a mall with, they're walking around doing surveys.
Yeah.
And I'm walking around and I have my 3 slabs, CGC, PSA, Beckett. And I'm like, which one looks the coolest? Give me your vote and I'll give you like a Dollar Tree pack. And just to random people, just to get an idea of like what people on the street think looks cool.
That is
instead of people that are influenced.
Fantastic idea. I can't believe you just said that out loud where people are going to hear that. You absolutely need to do that.
Yeah.
Like tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like you need someone to record you doing it. You're gonna need a cameraman. Like, so you need wife or your friend. Like, someone's needs to record that. That is a brilliant idea. I love that idea, and I absolutely think you're gonna be very surprised with the results. I don't think anyone's gonna know what the result would be from that.
Exactly. It's basically just aesthetics at that point. There's no attachment to asking these people. It just because it'll settle the debate of which one looks better on average, because everyone already like has their bias. So that would be pretty cool. Just a random fun.
Do you think the PSA slab looks a little clinical? Like a little like, I don't know, like a old school like administration type almost.
Yeah,
it's
yeah. I don't know how I feel, but the biggest issue I have with it is that they limit the text, so like abbreviations on everything, especially some of these longer card names and the long set names. Like this one I'm holding is not abbreviated at all, really. I don't know if you can read it, but it's
it went clear. Warrior.
Yeah, it's not abbreviated, so that looks pretty clean. But yeah,
I'm
red's a
looking at this
random
one.
color.
3, 4,
I don't
5,
know.
6, 7. I'm looking at this one I just bought, and there is 7 words that's abbreviated on it. It's the Japanese friendly shop that I just got in. 7 different words that are abbreviated.
So that's, I guess, one of my favorite things about CGC, but there's other things as well. But there's a lot of things about CGC that I'm not a fan of. So it's all checks and balances, really. But I was curious, like, what's your main drive towards PSA, and now why some of the CGC stuff, or?
Yeah, so I'm a pretty open person. I feel like I'm pretty open. I told you, like, I'm definitely into like opportunism and like grabbing things where I think it's a good idea. So I'm also a little bit of a traditional, I guess. And I feel like I started out, first of all, knowing about PSA, this CGC, when I first started out looking at slabs. It was all PSA. That was the only one I heard of, the only one that people talked about, the only one that YouTubers were grading prices, displaying prices on when they were grading, that kind of stuff. So for me, it was just like slab meant PSA. Like, it was just that simple. They're the first people I ever sent slab cards to get slab. They're the second, they're the third, they're the fourth. Like, they were just all my first few submissions. It was to them. And then CGC kind of like the woodwork, rose higher than any Phoenix I would have ever imagined. They definitely came out of the ashes like from nowhere, it seemed like, and did really well with the trading card aspect, the CGC part of their company. I know they've got a lot of different branches, different areas that they're in. But yeah, I mean, they came up rising pretty hard, but at that point, I had already been collecting and grading and like was so involved in PSA that it felt a little like unnatural for me to like go into CGC. And I don't know if that's on me. I think that is partly, I don't know if CGC did enough on their marketing department to like reassure people that like it doesn't really matter which grading company you use or like what it is. Like I don't know if they put enough emphasis, enough effort into that part, because for me it felt like you were either PSA person or a CGC person or an SGC. Like if it's always felt like kind of divided between them. But in reality, like I've come to realize just from myself, like does it really matter? Like really, like it's the card. Like it's not. Is it the grading company? Like the grade from them? Is it the certification or the registry? Like, or is it actually the card that I want? Because like this one, I was like, I want that card. I want that Japanese promo, and I want like it's the Japanese promo holo pack thing of the 25th anniversary Pikachu. Birthday one, iconic artwork, like incredible glitter holo, like it's the card. So I'm like, screw it, I'm gonna buy it. I don't care that it's CGC slab, I'm gonna buy it. The green Shiz is right. Josh, I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna buy this card. And I don't regret it at all. I love it. It's on my desk in front of me. It's been on my desk the past week. I've been loving it and enjoying it. So does it matter? I mean, I don't know what your thoughts are. You feel like you seem to be kind of fluid between them. Like, I don't think you're too intent on any, but like you obviously have an appreciation for the card too,
Yeah, for personal collection cards, like I'm going to show you here, just sitting on my desk, I have all 4 different grading companies just sitting right on my desk.
Yeah. It says it all.
So I have so many SGC slabs, PSA, a handful of Beckett's, literally less than 5. But I'm all over the place for personal collection cards. Reselling, I want the highest grade possible, and I can play the different avenues based on how these different companies grade. So,
and you're not afraid to crack, right?
No, I love crack.
So then, but seriously, like, you're back to square one.
Yep.
Boom, you're back to the card again. The place you bought it from, the place you graded it, the slab it was in, whatever, like that's completely irrelevant because you're back to the fundamental of that card that you love and enjoy, and that could be worth money, and you've made money doing that. So like that proves that the slab really is irrelevant. It's just a case of it being an aspect towards purchasing and validation, authentication, like all that kind of stuff. Like it's just a different mindset of it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm becoming more and more open. The more that I've opened my eyes, the more open I've been to the other ones. And I mean, I'm bidding on CGC cards in this week's PWCC. I'm looking forward to Sunday night with you to like, see what stuff closes out. There's been a lot of CGC slabs at PWCC, a lot of them.
Yeah. Yeah, and like last Sunday, there was a lot of things that didn't sell for $10 in CGC slabs. It was pretty crazy going through those. Like, and a lot of
they weren't sold. 5s.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, I saw a couple of them. Some of them were like 9s and stuff, right? I mean,
first edition Neo Discovery. It was like Natu. Yeah, it was just a bunch of stuff that I wish I was looking. I didn't get the chance to look at that auction before it happened. But are you following any of the other auction sites like Golden Heritage, or you follow eBay much in depth or save searches?
I'm not following them in active listings. What I do with Golden and Heritage is kind of like its own game. I'll get into that. But Golden Heritage, I've been kind of like reviewing where things have sold, like after it closes, like kind of like keeping in touch with the market, like where things are at in specific cards. Just because most of the stuff that I've wanted in those, I've wanted it, but I definitely can't afford it. Like it's kind of like out of my price range. So it's been more of like a calibration for me, like reviewing those numbers after and seeing like where things are at. So I've played around with that a little bit, done a little bit of research after things have closed out and stuff. But I'm not actively like bidding each week on each month, so I say on that kind of stuff. We have some weekly ones now, but eBay every day. I mean, literally every day. I have saved searches. I'm bidding on stuff every day. I bid on 3 or 4 nicer things today. You know, nicer bits. I lost a couple yesterday that went higher than I felt comfortable. You know, there's still stuff that is going higher. You know, not everything's gone down. I've won some stuff. I've done some buy it nows. This past week, I've been incredibly active. I think in the past almost years, I would say probably 90% of the days I've checked eBay.
Yeah.
With a search or at least a bid or something. I've been very, very active, or a sale. You know, I was selling a lot at one point, especially last year. I sold a lot last year on there. Yeah, eBay is like the big one. PWCC, I've sold a lot. Like I've had most of the nicer cars through PWCC, the bigger, higher end of stuff that I've sold. I've sold through there just so I don't have any worries. You just throw it in a box and send it to them. I mean, it's like so simple. I haven't had to worry about like returns or like shilling or like on my, you know, send it through eBay, like any like weird stuff. I just submit, forget, and I get the money in my account. I don't have to worry about it, and that's worked really well for me. And then buy-in, I've had pretty good luck. I would say 30% of cards I've bid on a comfortable price I've hit and won, which I think is pretty good. You know, I would say with eBay that's probably closer to 20%. So I would say I've had better luck with PWCC on trying to deal with some stuff, but on the other flip percentage where I'm not getting them, they seem to go much higher. It's like a much bigger like disparity between the two from eBay, where eBay goes for like a little bit more than I wanted. PWCC, they get a deal or it's like way over, which I think is really interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty strange. There's definitely some really oddball sales on PWCC. I'm curious, have you, having sold through there, any unpaids, or how often are things unpaid, or is it always
selling?
Yeah, selling.
Never had an unpaid.
So that's
have you? I don't even know
I've never sold
what happens.
PWCC.
Oh, you haven't?
Never.
Oh my god, it's so easy.
I know. He was on one of my podcasts, the director of business development, and I was about talked into it, and then I heard the eBay vault happening, and I was like, pump the brakes.
Yeah.
Let me just wait and see how this goes. And now it's playing out in front of me. And that's why I did the video breaking down all the math to kind of, I was doing it for myself, but I was like, might as well just do a video to see kind of what I want to do. But I also like being able to pick up a stack of my favorite cards that aren't inside of a vault. And I don't know, man. It's a love-hate thing with the sending the cards to be sold, and
you gotta have zero connection. Like it's got to be purely money to do it. And I think I submitted the last set that I submitted of cards. I feel like it was like 3 or 4 weeks before they even got.
Yeah, it
like
takes
it was.
a while, yeah.
I was like, wait, they're not in this week's auction. Wait, they're not in this week's auction. Wait, they're not in this week's auction. Like I was like, guys, like I'm pretty sure I sent you my cards to sell. Like, are you gonna sell them? Like, what's going on? But then when they did sell higher than I hoped. So like it's not perfect, but you get a better end result as a seller. I feel like, you know, they did sell like pretty good. I felt pretty. There was one card that didn't sell where I hoped, but the majority of them did sell over. So I felt good and confident in that aspect. Like just the way, I don't know, it just seemed to take a while. I didn't feel like there was a lot of communication in that. I didn't feel like I knew where I stood or what was happening or when it was going to get listed. They don't tell you any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Like they don't. Which I guess is good in some ways. Like they just handle it They're just like, yep, give me the cards. Don't worry about it. We'll figure it out. Like, don't worry about it, guys. Like, go sit down. We'll sort this out. Like, it kind of felt like that, but I was like, wait, but like, wait, well, like, it's kind of like that. So, you get a good result, but you just got to be okay with being hands off, because they are the most hands off people for you, because they are the most hands on.
That's good.
Which is good, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a slight buzzing going on, but it's not terrible.
I can hear the fan going like crazy, so
that's well, I just got a few more items, man. We can wrap it up, but yeah, that's hilarious. Hopefully it doesn't cost you a whole lot of money to get that replaced.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. That's very odd. Sorry, maybe it just overheated or something.
Too many live streams, bro. Too many.
I'm glad. I enjoy it.
Your wife probably hacked into it and just shut it off. She's like, he's got to come to bed sometime.
Yes, that's about right.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, looking forward to Heritage Auctions on Wednesdays now. Is going to be doing strictly a TCG auction now every Wednesday. So that'll be really cool. Looking forward to that.
Are you going to stream that? Like you said, I know you mentioned that on Sunday night. Are you going to actually stream that? I think that would be really cool to get ahead of the curve on that one.
Yeah, I'm hoping. It is tomorrow, so we'll see. There's a lot. There's more Magic the Gathering in that auction than in the PWCC auctions. There's literally like 11 cards in the weekly PWCC auction. This one's probably got like 30 Magic the Gathering cards.
Did you look at Pokemon numbers?
It's all in. It's probably like 180 items, which I like.
Oh. Do you think they're going to be mostly $100 up?
There's definitely some that'll go below 100. This is a lot more chilled than their signature they just had. A lot more. There is some play promos, like an EV play promo in there, and a couple other nice cards. But yeah, that'll be pretty cool. Looking forward to that. So why Professor Oak? Obviously, I saw you're collecting Professor cards, but why that name and not anything else? Like Officer Jenny.
I'll be quite honest with you. I felt like I was a bit of an old guy in it. Like when I got going, I felt like I was one of the older guys in the hobby, and I felt like I probably related more to him than Ash, who's like 10. Like, I just kind of felt like if I'm gonna bring myself to like be a part of something, I should try and get the closest to where I should be. And Professor Oak is like funny as hell. Like, he is really funny. Obviously, like a weird, like loopy laboratory guy, like says weird stuff, but like kind of like knows Pokemon and like has fun and like enjoys it. Like he's in it, you know. And I just kind of felt like I just relate the most to him than any. And I didn't want to pick like a cheesy name for something like, I don't know.
Like my name?
No, yours is unique to you. Yours isn't cheesy. Like, you know, like Pokey Josh. Like, I don't know, like, I don't know. I don't know. It's just like,
I
didn't want to do something that felt like it made sense. I wanted to do something that like had a bit more of a connection with. And Professor Oak was kind of like, it just felt like, yeah, that's what it should be. I dressed up as Professor Oak for Halloween, and I was like, yeah, like that's what I gotta do.
So there's fan theory out there, kind of, that Professor Oak is Ash's dad. What are your thoughts on it?
There's two. So there's Mr. Mime, right, and then there's Professor Oak. There's two that people think that is Ash's dad. I guess Mr. Mime is like more of the stepdad, I guess you would say. But Yeah, who's Ash's dad? Like, we've never seen him. We've never talked about him. Don't know who he is, but lives next door. It's a very small town. Both have similar interests. Like, get on very well together in the anime. I could absolutely see that being the
Really
case.
small town.
You know what happens in small towns. So, yeah, I could definitely see that happening. Um, Yeah, I don't know. I've always thought that is a bit odd that it's like such an untouched subject, like his dad in the anime and in the game and stuff.
Very weird.
But yeah, Professor Oak is a funny one, and it's also funny that like it talks about his nephew, Gary Red, whatever, but like nobody else in his family really. Oh no, wait, he has a cousin that you find in one of the other labs in the game, like in one of the Tanzania expeditions. Like there's like a cousin or second cousin or something, but that's it. Like there's no real other talk of it. So I kind of like that mysteriousness with it though, with the families and the friends and that was cool.
Yeah.
Kind of fun.
In one of your recent games you did, I think it was your game night. You had asked the gentleman like the last name of Brock and Misty,
Yeah.
and I had never heard those in my life, and that changed all of those guys' lives because they had never heard their names. So what again were their names? Because that did not feel right at all. Hearing their name with a last name. Do you remember? Or,
Yeah, was it Misty Williams
yeah,
and Brock Harrison, was it? I
that
forget.
sounds probably right.
Something like
Yeah.
that.
When the hell did they get last names, or was that just in the anime, the manga, or something?
Yeah, it was part of the background of the anime in terms of like the scripting and the title and stuff like that. Like they
Yeah.
never like, actively said it. I don't think at any point. Like I don't think it was a part of it. But I remember reading about that stuff. There was a couple of other names too, and I remember thinking like a few years back, like what? Like, what the heck are you talking about? Like that? That's not a thing. But obviously, like it would make sense for them to have a last name. Like Ash has a last name, Professor Oak has a last name, so that kind of stuff. But like, what's Professor Oak's first name?
John,
We talked about that. John, Bob, I don't know, Jimmy, like
Bob
who?
Oak, Bob Oak,
I like Bob Oak. I would run with that. Maybe that should
Bob Oak.
be to me. Bob Oak. I'll do that. Bob.
Yeah, that's good. That's
I
good.
would, I would own Bob. I like that. Bob.
He looks like a freaking Bob.
Yeah, yes, he could be a Bob. Yeah, I think that's funny. There's so many, like you were saying about Officer Jenny earlier, talking about rattling stuff and, Nurse Joy and stuff, like, what's their last names? Like, they're trying to make them real humans. Like, essentially in their anime, like, they're real humans. They're not
Yeah,
Pokemon. They're not weird, like, fictional people. They're trying to make them appear as real humans, make them look and act and talk and script out and have the emotions as real humans. Like, why wouldn't you associate a name with it? And then they don't, like, bring that into it, I think, because that part is like kind of for kids to relate to. Kids don't really relate to last names, they relate to first names. So like that makes sense for it to be Jenny and Ashley and Misty and Bob, like clicky, easy to remember, like unique,
yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's fun.
Oh yeah, that's crazy. No, that threw me for a loop. I'm like, are you serious, dude? Like I was pissed. I'm like, that just ruined my childhood. Like,
Yeah, there was a couple in there where I was like, I might actually like educate a little bit on stuff. Like there's a couple of things I researched and I was like, people like might want to hear this, but also the Misty one, I was like, I don't know if people want to know Misty's last name. Like, I don't know if that's like
that's weird.
that's the thing like people want to hear, but it's fun.
Yeah. So you had recently opened in I think like the last week an error pack, and that was your first error pack, right?
Yeah,
Where the
with
pack
the
wasn't crimped.
yeah the pack was open, and then it had like a a code card in there that had been cut through and was double crimped.
Yep.
Yeah, right next to me actually. Let me show them real quick. So yeah, it was like cut at the top and then it's crimped here, if you can see it in the light.
Yep. Just cut it right clean.
Yeah, it could.
And then one of the packs didn't even have the code card, right? You had an extra card in it, I believe.
Yeah, I think that's the first time I'd ever seen
That's
it
pretty weird.
do that. Yeah, it was a little confusing. Obviously, I'd had a couple of drinks by that point, but also like, um, I don't know how that could have happened.
That's weird. That's really weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, also what was interesting was the top was in the end of another pack. It wasn't even
Yeah.
the same pack.
Oh, really? Yeah, I didn't catch that part. I just saw I saw that little piece, and you're like, I'm gonna grade this little thing.
Yeah,
That's
you know,
hilarious.
CGC,
Send
right?
it.
I don't think
That is,
they'd put them together, but the big one maybe they would. The big part. I don't
yeah.
know. I don't know if they even see. We'll take a look at code cards, but I think it's fun just having like first era pack and card like that. I don't think I've ever opened one that was already open
Yeah.
especially out of a sealed ETB from Pokemon Center directly.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's crazy.
And I got it
That's
on camera. All the
yeah, no.
packs that I've opened off camera, like that could have happened a million times over, and I opened it on camera and it happened. I was like, this is
That's
like
cool.
the best look ever.
Yeah. Can always look back on it, and I remember there was like, oh, it's a reseal. I'm like, yeah, I doubt it, but yeah, it's
Well,
hilarious.
I mean, if there would have been like some crazy Charizard or some big hitter in there, like I would have probably assumed the person opening it would have planted it because you open it on live stream, it's an error pack, and so you got a big hitter. But
Yeah.
luckily, I didn't, so people know I was telling the truth. Like it was an actual error issue going on, but just odd. The whole thing was just odd. I mean, you saw it. Obviously, it was just weird. I don't know what happened with that. It's cool though, being a part of it. I
Oh
was a
yeah.
little interested, like what's going on.
Yep. And I do appreciate you donating to my box break I did, man. The
Forgot about that.
Brilliant Stars. Brilliant Stars. It was I forget it was I think you donated I think I did like $2 per pack or something like that, or $5 for shipping for one pack, and donated $10 and bought a guy a handful of packs. So it was pretty cool. Appreciate it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I remember watching you open it, and I remember I just remember like thinking like, why doesn't he do this every week? Like just as like one of the little things. But then I remember thinking like, well, obviously the pricing you did wasn't
Yeah, I lost money.
like
Yeah.
that wouldn't have done well. But like if it was, even if you made profit, it seemed like there's a lot of effort. Like you put a lot of effort into that, and I appreciated it. Like especially for the watching it being open alone is fun, but the fact that you're shipping these out to people below your cost, it just awesome. I gained a lot of respect to you with that. Like that was another little point on the scorecard for you there. That was a cool one. But yeah, I was glad to donate. I wanted to be a part of it. I thought that was something that like I say, I just love being a part of stuff, and that was something where I was like, oh, this is brilliant. Like growing
Yeah.
up, like I definitely want to get involved in that.
So I think I'm gonna do the same thing. I didn't do it for probably the last one or two or what last set. I think I
Yeah.
skipped the last one or so, but the Pokemon Go set, I think I'm gonna do it because there's a lot of sweet cards. Like I don't like opening Modern like you do for myself for any reason because I know I'll lose money. So I'd rather open it, give some other people some enjoyment, sell the packs cheap. So that'll probably be what I'll do. And what do you think about that set?
Um, I'm a little bit selfish with that set,
Yeah,
honestly. So I won the Pikachu's, obviously. I won the one where he's holding the promo where he's holding the present and stuff. The one where you walk in and then the cartoon looking one. I want those three. In terms of the big three, those who we shall not speak the name of, everybody knows. And I was hoping it was going to be Pokemon Go themed artwork, and it's not. Like, I feel like it's not really like any connection to Pokemon Go at all.
Yeah, the Mewtwo gives you a little bit of vibe. It's in the city.
Yep.
That would have been cool, like if like actual pictures of different cities, like landmarks, Niagara Falls and Stonehenge, and
that's a good idea.
That would have been sick. I don't know what type of
I like that a lot.
rights they need, but I feel like I don't know.
Yeah,
That'd be nuts.
Public places. Yeah, I mean, they could have done it. I'm sure they wouldn't have needed to pay rights to anyone. But that artwork for me, I don't think it's bad. I just don't see the connection, and because I don't see the connection between the two, I'm having a hard time connecting with it. Like, I'm not like, I don't think I'm chasing those three cards really. I think I'm after it. I think I'm looking for Pikachu. But also, I haven't seen all of the secret rares, so I don't know what else is coming from that. I've seen a couple of them, but like, I know what's coming from that. So that could be fun. I was chatting with Mason on that live the other day, and he was, we looked at the link and looking at the cards, and actually the commons look like the best artwork to me out of all of them that I've seen so far. There's some pretty cool commons in there. The Bulbasaur looks pretty nice.
Yeah.
It's a pretty fun one.
Yeah, it's gonna be I think it'll be a good set, like celebrations. I think there's gonna be some more nostalgia. Like those are the sets that hit where you bring modern and vintage collectors into a set where they feel like they are attached to it because it's got the evolutions or the legendary birds or some version of like the vintage Pokemon tied into it from Gen 1 through 3. That's when they hit home. And obviously if they make a set with 7 Charizards in it, that'll do good, but um very interesting. I'm not a fan of the stamps on the 25th anniversary or the Pokemon Go. I don't like the bright color popping out at you stamp. It covers an eighth of the card. I like the Japanese 25th anniversary stamp way more than ours. Do you know if there is a different stamp for the Pokemon Go?
It's the exact same stamp. I would imagine that the writing's different, but it's the same artwork essentially.
Yep.
What I would like, I feel very similar to you on that. What I would like is variations of the Black Star promo type stamp, where it is small. It's in that box. You got position to the left, Black Star promo to the right, or sometimes at the bottom, that kind of stuff. I would like an actual stamp, like a small stamp that like solidifies what it is, because that for me like isn't a stamp. Like it's like its own thing, like a logo, like it's like too much presence. Just like you're saying, there's too much presence there on the card, and it does distract from the artwork. I mean, it's literally over the artwork, but it does distract from it. I'd really like to see it as more of like a
little more subtle.
Yeah, sort of like more like a description and like what it is rather than part of it. I guess feel like it's two separate things.
Yeah, I've always liked like the EX era reverses where they have like the set name stamped on them. So like if they did that where they like stamped it like that in the hollow or whatever, similar to how MetaZoo does it. MetaZoo does it great with like the Collecticon stamps. They're pretty looking. So really missing the ball on that one.
Do you mean like the Holland Phantoms stamp and stuff like that?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, these ones.
Deoxys, Phantom, yeah. Those look cool.
Yeah, this Go one does look, I don't know, gaudy is the word. I don't know what word you would call it. It just seems a little bit too much. Like the presentation of it, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. there is some cool artwork. They have put effort into it, so I'm excited to see what those secret rares are. As they start coming out even more will come out. But I think it's going to be a celebration of the Detective Pikachu type vibe, like in between those two. I think it's going to be like everybody's going to want it, and like it's cool and it's there, but not quite celebrations like big, crazy, flashy artworks. I think it's going to be like a mid-range in between those two, and I think it's always going to sell. I think it's going to be a super liquid, like super desirable set.
Yeah.
Even if it's not crazy prices, I think people are always going to want it.
Yep. No, I agree. It'll be pretty interesting. But I'm gonna probably taper this thing off. It's getting pretty late. You're East Coast too, right? 11:30. So I gotta work tomorrow. I know you probably do. And your wife's probably complaining like my wife's probably gonna bust through the door in a second. So I definitely appreciate you coming on, man. It's been great. I would definitely love to be on one of your lives. So anytime you got an opening or need somebody, let me know. I'm available. So I will. I'll say I'm available, but if my kids got something going on, then I'm not. But I'll be there for you. So
We can figure that out. Yeah, the game nights are fun. I think you'd have a blast. I mean, you've seen it's just cool having a couple of guys together and going through it. Yeah, I think it'd be awesome. So I'm planning another. I started at the weekend actually planning the next one. Probably next week, possibly the week after. But yeah, we'll plan that out. But yeah, thanks for having me. I've enjoyed this. It's been odd talking about myself so much. not,
yeah.
used, not used to that, but it's cool that you had me, and I've enjoyed it. I hope the viewers have enjoyed it. I hope you guys have enjoyed it too. And yeah, thanks for having me.
Oh yeah, man. Hopefully you get that the USB thing fixed and
Yeah,
everything's dandy.
sorry for that, guys. Yeah.
No, I've definitely edited that and fixed it. So, all
Cool.
right, man. I appreciate it, Mister. I will talk to you soon. All right, dude.
All right. See you later. See ya.
Yeah. You have a good night, man.
You too. Thank you.
Yeah, bye.